I should have thought this through. I didn't want you all to hurt. Now everyone's in pain and I'm lying in the dirt. People are asking, why did he do it? Only I know where it began. Now it is over. Gone too young.
For decades, our First Nations Australians have continued to die by suicide at 2.5 times the rate of non-Indigenous Australians.
Recent research, led by Dr. Westman, has found that 42% of Aboriginal youth have experienced thoughts of suicide, and 1 in 4 have actually attempted it. These findings reveal a serious gap in mental health services for our communities, a gap that we are committed to closing at Jilya.
Now, I lost my daughter, maybe 7 years old, and I'm still going through that pain and that hard time. We need someone local, someone that understands Aboriginal culture, that can talk in a cultural language. There's no cultural barrier, but there's always someone there to help.
Indeed, 4 successive government inquiries, the most recent of which was the Fogliani inquiry into the 13 deaths by suicide of Aboriginal young people in the Kimberley, concluded that most of these children died as a result of system failure or a lack of access to culturally appropriate services. Our children should not be dying from want in a world of excess.
There's really interesting things that the government could do, for example, geo-map suicide data, and what they would find is that around 90% of the suicides are occurring in about 10 to 20% of the communities. So if you mobilise all your best practice programs into those high-risk communities and close the gap in those communities, you close the gap everywhere. So it's really obvious to me that, mental health should not be for the privileged, it should be for anyone to be able to access critical complex services. And what's happening is our Indigenous people aren't actually being afforded those services commensurate with need.
Jilya is meeting this challenge head on. Based on 2 decades of evidence, the Jilya model has been developed by Aboriginal people for Aboriginal people. We know the Jilya model works.
Imagine having a National Indigenous Psychology Treatment Centre staffed by Indigenous psychologists that Indigenous people in mental health crisis can access free of charge. We are so close to achieving this critical service to our highest risk families and communities, and all we need, Australia, is your help to be able to do it.
Research consistently tells us that the quality of the therapeutic relationship is the strongest predictor of therapy outcomes. Providing Indigenous Australians with safe, accessible and effective psychology services is desperately needed in our country if we are going to get serious about closing the gap on Indigenous mental health and about reducing the devastatingly high suicide rates we continue to see among our people.
Please get behind us, Australia, as you have for the past 5 years. We'll get this done. This is what will close the gap. This service is so needed and so critical to making a huge difference to those people who are desperately in need of support.